Hello, everyone. I will tell you, it feels like it's been ages since I've been live. And it really has. I think it's maybe been a week, but it feels like it's been maybe a little over a week, but it feels like it's been a long time. But I got big stuff, huge stuff to talk about today. And this was all kind of spurred on by not only realizing I was like a month out from my birthday, hello 57, coming up quick, and then the halfway point of the year. But at this point, we are now officially in the second half of the year, right? There is less time left in 2025 than there's less time left than we've already gone through, right? So we are past the halfway mark. And if we're not careful, and I say we, and I mean a collective we, it is going to pass by exactly like the first half did. So with my birthday coming up, which is exactly a month from today, I have been thinking about how do I want to feel on that day that I might not be feeling now, and how do I want to proceed to close out this year, right? How do I want the second half to look? Because here is the truth. This is for me, this is for you, this is for anybody, male, female, whether you are in menopause or you are not, but especially for my women in menopause. If you don't change anything, nothing is going to change, right? Have you seen that quote kind of put like, the good news is, and the bad news is, right? Like, it's the same. You can look at it either way. If you don't want anything to change, fine, keep doing what you're doing. But I know most of you don't want to keep feeling like you're feeling. And I know it sounds incredibly obvious, but most women are doing this on repeat, right? You get quietly disappointed because you don't do anything differently, but there's this little bit of you that just keeps lowering the bar all the time, right? Now, I know we've all heard this quote, and I've said it a million times myself, right? And it's often credited to Albert Einstein. And it turns out he might not have even been the one to say it, but hey, I thought I'd throw his name in there anyway. But insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. And it is crazy how much of us are borderline insane, if this really is the truth. Whether he said it or not, no matter who said it, it is completely and totally incredibly true for all of us. We are creatures of it. We keep saying, it'll be different this time. I'll try harder, right? But yet we keep doing the same thing. And we do this over and over again with health, with weight loss, whenever we're trying to change things, right? And the hard part is for those of you in perimenopause, or if you've moved on to postmenopause, what used to work doesn't work anymore. And yet you keep banging your head up against the wall, trying and trying and trying and trying and trying and thinking you're not strong enough, you don't have enough willpower, you're not doing it strict enough, you're not restricting enough, right? You can keep tracking, you can keep cutting calories, you can keep skipping meals, you can keep trying to be good and still feel exhausted, inflamed, uncomfortable, and totally stuck. I saw this post in a vegan intermittent fasting group, and this woman was talking about how she was postmenopausal and she had been, for the last 2 years, intermittent fasting was not working. She was gaining weight, not losing weight. And she was asking, someone tell me what the schedule of intermittent fasting is that I need. Instead of saying, hey, maybe this isn't working for my hormonal body. Maybe I don't have to give it up forever because I like it for whatever reason, but maybe I need to do something different right now. Now, it wasn't my group, so I didn't jump in, but I was killing me because I wanted to be like, let's look at your process. Okay. Your bodies are not broken, but if you keep trying to do what you've always done, you are using the wrong instructions for the body that you have now. So for me, this is why I made a decision. This isn't like a detox. It's not a diet because I don't do any of that crap. But I'm doing what I'm calling a 32-day back to the basics reboot for me, right? Not to be perfect, but to remind myself of my skill of follow through, of taking care of my body on purpose. A lot of the things that I do without having to think about now. And then there are other ones that Old habits will sometimes try to rear their ugly head because that's how we roll, right? But for me, it's not a new plan. It's what I teach my clients to do, and it's the one that I know works, which is why I would do it for myself. So I am doing it myself on purpose, right? Not just for my birthday, but to set the tone for the second half of this year. So what about you? What are you going to do for the second half of this year, right? It doesn't mean you need to overhaul everything, but it's about getting honest. If what you've been doing, if that story I told you about that woman been trying the same thing and gaining weight, you got to stop pretending that that's working, right? Because that alone can change everything. I don't really care how you proceed to do something different. If you want to work with me, if you want to work with another coach, if you do this, you do that, right? I just want you to do something different, because if you don't do anything different, you're gonna keep getting the same results. And let me say this, because this is incredibly important here. So maybe you're really taking to heart what I say and you are like, hello, Lynn. You are like, yes, you're right. I have to do something different. What I've been doing isn't working. I recognize that. And if you're thinking that, I just want to say yay for you, because that is the first step. That is you admitting that it's not something wrong with your body, that it's the process, it's the strategy that you're trying to use, right? But here is something really important. So if you decide that and you decide you're going to do something different, whether you think about it, whether you decide about it, or whether you actually take action on it, there is going to be a level of discomfort. There is going to be resistance, not because it's not the right choice for you, not because it's a bad decision, not because your gut instinct is telling you not to do it, but because your brain is doing what a normal human brain does. It will resist change, even good change, even necessary change. Because your brain just wants to repeat what's easy, what's known, and what avoids pain and effort and change and all of the things, even if it's not what makes you feel your best. And I can't tell you how many times in my life I've made a decision and then my brain gave me flack for it, and I have backpedaled on my decision because I thought that my brain was the expert. I thought if my brain said, oh, you better not try this, I thought that was a fact. I thought that was something I had to listen to. That was just my brain being my brain. That part of your brain that resists new things, it can't see the long-term gratification you will get from meeting your goals, from meeting your health goals, for weight loss goals, or reducing your menopause symptoms. It's just not possible. Your prefrontal cortex, it's all about that. But your primitive brain is just like, no, I don't want to do anything new. It's scary. It might not be survivable. And this might sound silly as crap, but I promise you I am not making this up. This is not my own theory. This is grounded in science. Your primitive brain is motivated by three things: seek pleasure, avoid pain, and expend as little energy as possible. Okay? New things are painful. They are not pleasurable. Not in your brain types. Your brain loves patterns. It loves habits. It loves doing the same thing on repeat. That's why you have so many things on autopilot, right? Can you imagine if you had to think about taking every single step that your feet make, right? Think about it. If every time you wanted to take a sip of water, you had to remember how to swallow, right? We don't have to do anything. All of those are on autopilot. Making the decisions you've been making for most of your life are on autopilot too. How we do one thing is how we do everything. And I could tell you, I could sit here and talk to you all day long and tell you how I have seen this be mirrored in every aspect of my life. Anyway, I'm getting a little excited. So, I know better now. And a lot of that was learning how to be a coach and getting coached. And I still fought it. I can't even tell you for how long. But I know better. And I want you to know better to. That should not be information that has been withheld from us our entire lives, how to work with our own brain. This is what I help my clients do, and it's what I walk myself through to get the same results, right? Because I believe in this 100%, because I want my body, after going off my thyroid meds and gaining some weight and not feeling good and being more stressed out and not attacking that as strongly as I should have, I don't like how I feel in my body, and I'm gonna change it. And that started for me yesterday. Okay, so we've got less than 6 months left in this year. That's a lot of time to create change, but only if you decide to. So I would love to hear from you. What is something you don't want to carry with you into the second half of 2025? What is something you'd like to leave in the first half, right? Maybe that's the easier way. What do you not want to keep feeling, keep doing, keep experiencing? And if you need help figuring it out, please send me a message. I will always help you. If you're struggling with goals, and let me tell you, I never used to be a goal person. I mean, I definitely was never a resolution. Well, I shouldn't say that. In my early adulthood, I would, and never stuck to them. Can't tell you how many times quitting smoking was on my New Year's resolution and how much that didn't stick for a very long time. Now it is, but for a long time now. But I was never a goal setter. And when you don't set goals, you can't even hold yourself accountable. What are you following through on? So I use my birthday as a marker. Again, not because I'm only looking at making changes for these next 30 days, but because I like to go in 4-week increments. That's what I do with my clients, right? Because we assess at the end of 4 weeks, because we need that long to know if something's working, if it's moving us in the direction that we want it to go. Not that we're going to get to our goal, but are we moving in the right direction? If we're not, okay, we got to tweak, we got to pivot, we got to start looking. Anyway, so I hope this made some sense for you. If you're not in my Facebook group, please come join Menopause Wellness Made Simple, where I try to break down all the aspects of menopause: physical, emotional, our mindset, our hormones, stress and sleep and nutrition. I do it all, right? I'm a health, life, and nutrition coach. But do something. Don't keep doing what you're doing and expecting it to give you any different results, even if it works for you for 30 years before you hit perimenopause. You don't have the same body anymore. Okay. Got any questions? You know, my door is always open. You can always ask.